about Prison Break. I feel like we need to.
I mean, I really want to talk more about blowing smoke in dogs' ears and getting them high in the bloodstream.
We literally could talk to you all day.
Same.
Every freaking day.
Same.
But yes, you wrote a book.
I did write a book.
This is your second book you wrote.
This is my first actual book.
Okay.
I've written like some guides. Like
Got it.
smaller,
Okay. Yes.
books, ebooks kind of things. But this was my first like official book. It came out at the end of 2016. And it was awesome. We hit like #1 bestseller in like, 9 different countries.
Wow.
And which was really, really cool. And yeah, it's been awesome. So it's kind of all about the understanding that at any given moment, we can be a prisoner of circumstance, or we can be what I call a self-leader, right? And so the prisoner of circumstance is somebody who is, at the whim of what's going on in the economy, who's in the White House, the song on the radio that reminds you of your ex, and all of your happiness or sadness is dictated by something outside of you. Whereas a self-leader says like, cool, that it's not, you don't lie about that stuff. That stuff does happen. You're going to have an experience of being sad and whatever else. But the question becomes, given the conditions of the game that I'm playing, given what I'm being presented by the universe or by whoever, what do I want to create? If I'm going to be intentional and purposeful about my life, how do I use life instead of being used by life?
Yeah.
And so the book is basically about breaking out of the prison of your mind.
Wow.
Which I feel like I was in, hardcore for the first 30 years of my life for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's not a personality kind of thing. It's not like you're either a prisoner or you're a self-leader. It's a moment by moment thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just, the book is hopefully there to help people recognize very simple mindset shifts to notice when they are kind of going into the prisoner perspective or they're feeling a prisoner kind of feeling,
right? And
how to shift into self-leadership. And the more we can do that, the more we feel love, the more we feel creativity, the more we feel playfulness and joy, the better our relationships are. It's just been, at least my experience of that stuff has been that when I am more purposeful about being a self-leader, my life just tends to work a little better.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was reading your book, something that really stuck out to me was you said, you had an issue with weight and you kind of hit this point where you're like, okay, I'm unhealthy, but at what point am I going to keep waiting till I change? Yep. And that stuck out to me. You brought up, you're not going to wait for building the perfect business or having the perfect logo or the perfect website. And that's something that I really struggle with because I consider myself a perfectionist.
Same.
And I want things to be lined up perfectly before I take that first step. And something I've been trying to work on, especially this past 6 to 18 months, is just doing it and being okay that it's imperfect and almost encouraging the fact that it's not as good as I want it to be, because every step you take, you have that moment of, okay, I'll just make it a little bit better.
Right.
And build that momentum versus not having that momentum because you're waiting. You're waiting for the perfect moment. And then it's like being lazy. You're not getting off the couch. So then you don't have that momentum to keep going. So that really stuck out to me.
Yeah. And that was the entire thing, is that I realized like there's 2 forms of weight. There's the WEIGHT and the WAIT, right? And so like the longer I would wait to do the things I wanted to do, to leave my corporate job and start my first company. And I had, after I left corporate technology, I had 2 startups, one that was a transportation-based company and then one with NASA that we were talking about playing around with earlier. And then before I got into coaching and speaking and all that stuff. And I waited in so many of those different areas of my life. I'm like, no, I got to wait till it's perfect. I got to wait till it's perfect. And the longer I waited, the heavier I felt. So the one type of weight actually lent itself to the other type of weight.
Yeah.
And then it was, again, just this self-propagating loop. So one of the things I started playing with that's been really helpful for me is this concept that I talk about in the book. There's a chapter in the book called "It's Not Your Only Line in the Play." Right. And the book, the cool thing about the book is that most of the chapters are like 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 pages. They're pretty short chapters.
Perfect.
So you can pick it up, just read whatever. They're not like sequential where you have to read them in order. Just pick it up, open up wherever, read 3, 4 pages, put it down. You feel accomplished. You go and live your life. I don't want you to like take off a day at work to read the book. So the whole concept of "it's not your only line in the play" is, if you think about, if you are like a stage performer, a stage actor, and let's say you're off stage right, and you're about to come on and deliver this line, and you have one line in the entire play. And this line is such a pivotal line. It is a critical line that if you do not absolutely nail it, not only is your career tanked, but the entire play is tanked. Everybody else on stage is tanked. The director is tanked. Everybody's life is tanked if you screw up this one line. How do you think you feel coming onto stage to deliver this line, right? It's just pressure. And it's just like butthole is all puckered up and tight. And it's terrible, right?
Can't eat, can't sleep.
Can't sleep, can't do anything. And that's how I think we feel a lot of times when we want to create something in the world. We want to do something in the world. And so the premise is, what if instead of thinking about that, realizing that you actually are the star of the play and you have a line of dialogue on every single page of the play.
Wow.
Now, if you come on stage and you flub a line, is it going to sting? Absolutely. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I messed up that line. But you have another line 3 seconds later that you're going to have another chance to hit it. And you're going to be doing that play 2 times a day, 4 times a week for the next 6 weeks. And nobody's going to remember that on a Tuesday in November, you flubbed this one line in a 4-hour play. It's just not going to happen, right? So if we start having that kind of mentality that it's not our only line in the play, and even take it a step further is I'll talk to people who I coach and they're really afraid of doing this thing, putting themselves out on the internet, doing Facebook Live, starting a business, whatever it is. And I say, listen, what if I told you that by law, this is not just like a funny thing, by law, you had to create 1,000 mediocre things before you were allowed to create something epic, right? How would that change the way you approach creating in the world, right? And most of them, when they think about it, they sit there with it. They go, well, if I had to create 1,000 mediocre things, I'm just going to get out and create all the shit I can to get it out of the way so I can get to the epic thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that when you have that mentality around creation and you go out there and say, I'm just going to create shit just to create shit, you'll get to epic way before 1,000.
Yeah.
Right. It just happens that way, but we have to get started. So it's really recognizing that like, it's not your only line in the play. You're always going to have another chance to do something. If you had the different mindset of like, this thing doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it can't be by law. It cannot be perfect or you will go to jail. Then that's super helpful. And then the other thing that
I ain't trying to go to jail in this economy.
No. Plus they got Corona up in there, man. They're sharing Corona.
She's lingering. Linger.
I thought it couldn't live on surfaces. It's living on some surfaces. It is living on all the surfaces.
That shit done moved in.
All the surfaces. But it's about you think about jail. Actually, is funny what I was going to say. So, were you guys ever fans of Orange Is the New Black?
Of course.
Okay, amazing show.
Amazing.
So Regina Spektor is the one who sings the theme song, right?
Okay.
You've Got Time is the name of the song, and there's a line in the song that when I first heard it, I was like, oh no, she fucked up that line. Like she fucked up the line. The line is, taking steps is easy. Standing still is hard. And I'm like, no, you fucked that up.
Yeah.
No, standing still is easy. Taking steps is hard. But when you really think about what she said, the damage it does to your soul to stand still when you know there's something else you want to be doing in your life, there's something you want to create, it is way fucking harder to do that than to take some steps.
Totally.
Yeah, and she's relating it to prison as well. It's like, imagine being in prison and or even just the lockdowns and you're sitting there like, oh God. This is torture.
If prison wasn't so fucked up as far as the food and the mental, I don't want to say mental. It wasn't as fucked up as far as the treatment and the food and the environments. I think prison could do people some good. That solitary confinement and that understanding that you're in a place where you can't do shit and you have to face your demons. Like in Norway, like the prison system is like rehabilitation. Yeah. Here it's fucked up. Yeah, it's awful. But I think that there's something to be said about that. Do you know what I mean?
It's a reset.
Yeah, it's a reset.
Really a reset. That's actually I'm surprised. I wonder if anybody's created a for-profit, prison for like the rich, where they just kind of
get your shit together.
Get your shit together weekend. Can we start that along with our medical book?
Please.
Can that be our new business?
Please.
These are $1 billion ideas.
They really are.
These are
we in flow right now.
We are in high, hardcore flow. Thank you, Stephen Kotler. We are in hardcore flow right now. No psychedelics needed.